Hello, it's Nienke here from Nienks.com, and I'm going to do another hippo card in this big series just because I love them, and yeah, that's about it. I love them. So this is what the stamp set I'm using is a Sale-a-bration one, and then of the previous Sale-a-bration, and I'm also using the hippo dies. Okay, but the dies are over there by my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So these are the ones we did. I think you've seen them already. This was the first videos, 2 different color combinations, and then this was the previous one, and we will be doing another design today. Okay, but before we start that, I'm thinking of just showing you how I did the watercoloring, okay, on the hippo. So I'm going to do that. Maybe let me just take this out for now. So I have, that's going to slide around, hold on. Okay, so I just stamped them on, I use this little cute hippo here, and it's Sahara sand, and then I use the StazOn saddle brown, okay, because we're going to watercolor. It doesn't bleed. I don't mind the bleeding sometimes, and sometimes it just depends on my mood, I guess. And then I'm using a water brush. We do have Stampin' Up do sell water brushes. Just move that out of the way. So I'm going to grab my Sahara sand and then just watercolor the hippo. Just press in the middle so that you have some ink on there. Grab the water brush. I have some water in my lid. I can suck that up. And then depending on how dark or how light you want it, you want to add water here. So let's just see how we go. I'm going to start from at the top one because I don't want to put my hand on a wet, still drying hippo here. And I'm going to start where I want it the darkest, which is right there, and then just move the color over. Ears can be darker, and then just up, it's leaking a lot of water. Hold on. And just a little bit. What's happening? Hold on. Just removing some of the water in my water brush because it is really wet. I don't want that much water. That's a little bit better. Okay, there's some smudging over there just because it was so watery. That is fine, I don't mind. Okay, so now I want a darker part here again. Look at that, what is happening? So much water. Hold on. There's not a lot of water in there. I don't know why it's leaking so much. I just squeezed some out on my shiny. Let's try this again. Now this is not watercolor paper, so I don't really want too much. Oh, that's better. I don't really want too much water or moisture on there. That's why I'm like trying to get less moisture. Okay, that's better. I wonder if it had a pressure build-up because of the temperature difference from when I last. Oh, my hand is probably warm and the brush is cold because it's a bit cooler here. So I'm holding it and the heat from my hand is transferring there to the water brush, so it's pushing more water out as the water heats up. That's what's happening. So just take note of that. I just squeezed out some water so that there will be a more of a negative pressure inside, so that if the pressure builds up again, then it won't leak out that much. Okay, so I'm just starting where I want it to be darker and then going towards the lighter part. Start this side again. Whoops, I'm just moving it too so I can move this way. It's easier for my hand to go, and I want it a bit darker there, and it will all blend in as it lightens, as it dries anyway. So no biggie. There we go. Okay, so that is that one. Now I'm just going to, I don't want to do these right now because I might, they may not be in my way. Let's do one more without water leaking everywhere. So start where you want it your darkest, and then just slowly move your color over like that, and there. I'll show you there. I went over to also a little bit, but you see that's already drying. You can hardly see that. That will dry too, so even if you go over, it's not a crisis. I'll also show you, I'm going to add some white watercolor. Well, I'm going to use the Derwent Inktense. You can use a watercolor pencil to lighten up or go over where you may have made a mistake or gone out the lines. I'll show you how to do that now. Plus, it is just a handmade card, so it is not, it doesn't need to be perfect either way. Add some more color where I want it, down here, down there, and there. So it's really, what does it take? A couple of, I won't even say minutes, maybe a minute or two. Let's do this last one. Start there, go up. It's really not difficult or hard or, you know, a lot of time just to use your water brush and your ink. You already have your ink, you just need your water brush, and that's it. No other tools required. Decide where you want it a little bit darker, grab your ink, start here, and then it all lightens up. So don't, you know, just give it some time. Even if you don't like it, give it time to dry before you know, make up your mind. And you can always add ink. You can't take any ink away, remember that. So rather, if you're not happy yet, just let it dry first, and then come back and decide if you need more or not. So I'm just going to add a little bit more here and blend it in. Okay, so like you see here, it's very, that there was a lot of water on there. I didn't like the amount of water, and it's already drying. Now this one was the correct amount of moisture while I was painting, so you can see that it's a bit lighter. So if you want it darker, just go in after it's dried and just add a little bit more, and that will dry again, and you can decide where else you want to put some more. Okay, so that is the hippo basically done. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to add, I don't want to do anything more. I'm just going to add some color to the little nostrils right there, and some, oh, it is coming out again too much, so I'm just squeezing some in there. There we go. And then also toenails. I'm just going to add some color to little nails. Now if you want to make them a different color, did we do them a different color in another hippo? Can't remember, but I'm just going to, and you can also pick up from your, directly from your ink pad. If you're running out of ink, you'll get a stronger color, and that's fine. It doesn't do any harm to your ink pad whatsoever. Just pick up some color right there and add it to the hippo's nails like so. Okay, now let's do the flower to clean up my water brush. I don't want any ink transfer. I have, you can use garden green. I actually have, I just grabbed the parakeet party here, so the cardstock I'm using is garden green, but you know what, it doesn't matter, it just needs to be green because it's such a tiny little leaf. Greatest scheme of things. So if you have garden green, go for that. If you have a different green, really doesn't matter. Okay, that is the green. Clean off my water brush, and then I think I'm going to make the flower yellow. Now the mango melody is the color in the cardstock color. I'm going to grab that. Again, use any yellow you have. Don't have garden. If you don't have Mango Melody, use something else. Daffodil Delight, or if you have Bumblebee, use Bumblebee. We just want it sort of yellowish. Now you will see that it's in any way darker because the cardstock isn't white, it is Sahara sand. Clean this off. I'm done with that. And that is all the watercoloring we're going to do. Put these away. Now I have my Derwent, whoopsie, stay. I have my Derwent Inktense white. You can use your Stampin' Up watercolor white, doesn't matter whichever white, and I'm just going to add a little bit of white to her eye. Now you need to wait for it to be dry, okay? It's not wet at all. I won't go and color here yet because it's still wet, and that will make everything bleed. So remember to make sure that before you color it is dry, okay? I hope I'm not shaking the camera too much. And then very lightly I'm just adding. Now there was that little bit of a bleed over there, or smudge, or whatever you want to call it. I just colored a little bit more, added a little bit more white there. And it's very subtle. It just makes the contrast between these two areas a little bit more, although we are going to die cut. I'm just checking that's dry, so it's fine. Can go ahead and just add some little bit of white there. Now this is totally optional. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference anyway. So I don't know if you can see the difference between this one and this one. There the contrast is just a little bit bigger, and it just, I don't know, I think it's just a little bit more love that went into it. It's not that big of a deal if you want to leave it, but that's what I'm going to do. And we could have just colored one, but I thought I'd show you how quick and easy it is if you would like to make multiples, to do it this way. Like decide to do all of your hippos at once. It really saves on time than to do them one by one. Get the green out, do that little leaf, do the yellow, do this, then go back, open the stamp set again, do green for the next one. It saves time if you do all your greens at once, all your yellows at once, all your Sahara sands at once. That is how you save time. Okay, it's fine. Okay, and the last little, I wanted to say dude, but it's not a dude. Last little hippo. Hope the camera isn't shaking too much. Almost done. That part here, and nothing needs to be perfect. There we go. That's it. So that's the hippos, and that is exactly the same thing I did with this one and with these, and I just added some Magenta Madness on her tutu and her nails and her okay, same thing. Now I'm going to die cut this out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back with my little hippo already die cut. Now let's bring in all the other pieces. I already have them ready. So it's a piece of Mango Melody cardstock. We're going to do this in the landscape orientation. So just a 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4, and we're going to do that this way. Again, I'm going to use the little pomegranate stamp that we used in the first video of the series, and I'm going to use my yellow. I have Bumblebee, as I said, it's Mango Melody in this paper pack. You can use whichever one you want. I have my stamping mat here, so let's just use that this way. And I like the fact that these pomegranate seeds look like raindrops. That is the thought. So I'm going to put this over here just at a slight angle there, and then down here too, just going off the edges a little bit, just some extra texture. Clean that off and close this up. Okay, so next is our the designer series papers squares. This is, I think, 3 by 3. Yes, 3 by 3, and I'm just going to angle them on top of there. I hope this is the correct glue. Yes, it is. I have another one that's almost empty. I should just let it go. But I always try to squeeze every last bit of glue out of it that I can. Are you the same way, or do you just not bother with it? Isn't that a cute soft seafoam polka dot there too? This one goes there, just a little bit toggled. And then have just a little round scalloped circle. What is it? It's about 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. You can use any shape. It's just the background shape, so any shape you have. Now let's do this. I want to add, this is actually the negative of the piece I used in the first card for the grass. Now we're just going to use a little bit of this, so I don't mind it being, you know, the grass actually is, you know, that part is the grass going like this. This is the negative part. No one's going to know. I'm just going to like glue that to there and use that as a little bit of grass up there. It looks just fine. To add just a little bit of glue right here. I don't want it to seep out everywhere. I just want it to stick. Find a spot that looks good here and add that like so, and then we're just going to cut that part off, and my scissors are over at my die cutting machine. I should really get another one, then I don't have to jump up and get it every time. Okay, so just cutting that off right there. So there is a nice little piece. I'm gonna put this on top of here. I also die cut the, oh come on, the little bucket or whatever you want to call it, but I didn't cut the whole thing out because it was too tall. I just die cut it from a little strip of early espresso because I was just going to cut that part off anyway. So now this I'm going to add here, just sticking out a little bit, maybe like this, from the grass, just that little die cut indentation texture there I want to show. So again, I'm going to add a little bit of glue just to the bottom of this, and then have this adhere about there, and then just, I like liquid glue because you can just scooch stuff around a little bit if you still want to. It gives you a couple of seconds to change your mind, and I think that is good. Now what I also want to do is add some flowers. So this is like a pot, and I'm going to use these little things, and I think I might just adhere this and then scooch that in there. The other thing I want is this to just go about there. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to this and to this. I like my placement of this to be correct, and then I can secure everything with some glue. Let's measure if our hippo will. Yep, that looks good. So like that, and then we can add this whole piece to, I just want to scooch my flowers in here, so I don't want to put glue right there. I can add that. So I'm just going to leave that little part there. Now this I want sort of in the middle of my design here, which is roughly about there, I think. There we go. And now before all of that adheres completely, I have glue on my thumb. I am having the worst time picking up these little bits today, probably because I cut my nails. Okay, so I'm going to just add that little part there, and then another one. These are all from the Hippo dies, if you got them. Sale-a-bration. Add that over there. There we go. And then I have a little cloud that I punched out from the designer series paper. And you could pop the cloud up if you want to. I'm just going to pop up the hippo in my sentiment, so I'm going to place the cloud right here. So you need rain for flowers to grow. There we go. Little cloud. And then I have this little piece here that I'm just going to add here right there. Like so. Isn't that cute? Like it. And again, the same thing with the flowers. If you want to pop them up, you can. I'm going to put one here, yeah, one here. And a little one here. Another big one up here. So let's just make you look like you're attached to something. There we go. Or sticky. And we'll put this one on here, up there. And then we can pop up our hippo with dimensionals. I think we can put, should we use little ones maybe here on his feet, and then we can just use her here. Here, right there. That should be good enough. So our sweet little hippo can go right there. Very cute. And then we'll stamp our sentiment just now. I want to add these little brass, you know what, let's first do our sentiment and our bow before we add these final little pieces, because they're just for embellishment, doesn't really matter where they go. I'm going to use early espresso for my sentiment just because the container is early espresso. Where's my stamp? Here it is. I'm going to use this just for you. It came from some more other stamp set. I think it was the nature one. It's etched in nature that was withdrawn, I think. It was a what am I trying to say? On stage or something stamp set, and it just didn't stamp as well as everybody hoped, so they took it off. But I have mine, so I still use it. I like the sentiments. That's fine. Okay, now this, I'm going to punch this out, so it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm just going to stamp it on a little scrap. There we go. Give it a minute to dry while I wipe this and put everything away. There we go. Okay, now I have this retired punch that I love very, very much. If you have that, use that. Otherwise, you can just trim it with your trimmer and maybe make some dovetails or something. So I'm just going to put this in there, and then I can stamp it the way I want it. Now I need to get it straight. That's good. Grab some minis for the back of this, and I think 3 should do it. 1, 2, 3. Yep. And then I still have some Magenta Madness ribbon left that we used on the first card, so I'm going to use that little. So let's just tuck this under her little foot, get it sort of. Now I don't press down very hard, I just let it go very lightly, and then I'll see if it looks good, and that looks good, so I'm going to put that on there. Grab my ribbon, tie a little bow. Come on. There we go. Pull, finesse a little bit. Here we go. I think that one feels a bit bigger, is it? No, it's good. Is that too big? No, that looks good. I do love it when I don't have to fuss with the bow too much. Let's pull out the tails a little bit. There we go. But sometimes ribbons just need some fussing. That is true too. Let's stick it down with a glue dot. Again, if you struggle with your ribbon not wanting to go where it's told, then just make it with a glue dot. Use some glue dots under your tails if you're not happy with them. That is totally fine. There we go. Now we can add these little extras wherever we want them. Let's add some stars. One here, and maybe one there and one there, and then we can put a heart there and a heart here and heart somewhere out there. Sounds good? Well, we'll find out. Oops. We will find out. I have found that it's way easier to add your glue there. Granted, you don't use, a million liters like I just did there. Should be fine. Other than to try and put it on this small little piece that is just hard. Do we want it there? Yeah, that's good. And then let's start with the smallest little heart going this way. Yes, maybe. Medium one. Going this way, maybe, and then the big one looking that way, something like that. I like it. And I think, oh, we need some pearls. This is a girl hippo. grab some pearls. Let's just use this, an abundance of little ones, so we could do little on all four. You could do that, or you could use medium for the two bigger ones. I'm just going to stick with little ones for now. The other thing you could do is, if you don't have the actual pearls, the pearl basic jewels, or you're making a lot of these and you don't want to use that many pearls, you can always use your what's that, pearlized enamel effects basics that come in the 3-pack. I made myself a little sample. You can see that it's the black, which can very much be silver or gray, and then the red that you can use with, I'm pretty sure, with Poppy Parade, Real Red. It can even, you know, it might even go through as a pink if you want. And then it has the white one, this white, yeah. And that is pretty much, you know, close enough. So if you don't want to use your pearls, use these enamel dots. Now I might make, if I'm going to make a lot of these, which I probably will, I'm going to use these. Just remember that you need to let it dry for a couple of hours, okay? And don't stack anything on top of it. When you, I would even maybe suggest before you adhere your flowers, because you can adhere your flowers at the end too. Die cut your flowers, do your enamel effects if that's what you want, let them dry, and then add them. Because like really I did, they're not coming off. It's stuck on there. So you can cut your flower, do your little enamel effect, let it dry, and then add it to your project later. Then you know you're not going to mess up your project. Okay, so there is a little tip. And that, I think, is everything. I hope you really enjoyed this as much as I did. There is our previous ones. Where do we put this? Like that, maybe something like that. Anywho, so I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, and I will just see you in the next video. Bye bye.